Hello and welcome to the men with the densest pixels. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Howdy.
Terrence is on assignment tonight. It's a wonder that this was even able to come together.
Yeah.
Last minute rescuing of this week's episode that we thought was going to be in the dust. It's good that we get to do it this week because there's a lot of interesting industry news that happened.
Absolutely.
Over the past 7 days.
What Brad is trying to tell you in the nicest way possible is that we're a bunch of liars.
Yes. Yes. That is also true.
We said we weren't going to do one, but we did one because we love you.
Yes, we do.
You're our Sami Zayn to Brad.
Kevin Owens. Yeah. Real quick, we're not going to talk about it in depth, but what did you think about Kurt Angle coming back on short notice at TLC?
Given the circumstances, I mean, he didn't. I wanted it to be the Kurt Angle of 11 years ago, but I don't know why I expected it to be the Kurt Angle of 11 years ago. It felt like a Make-A-Wish was granted, especially when he came out.
He's so happy.
He's like, yay!
I know they probably wanted to save like him coming out in the red, white, and blue and coming out to metal for a match for like his first actual match.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of forgave the whole honorary Shield member for a night thing. That was still really weird.
I figured it was because he still has to work on his midsection a bit, so they gave him.
That's also possible.
Yeah,
it's definitely also possible. It wasn't a bad situation. Like I said, they made the best of a bad situation. So why don't you talk about fractured buttholes?
Yeah. So I bought South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Get it? It's a butthole joke. And the story picks up literally right after the Stick of Truth. Turns out that they don't want to play, Dungeons and Dragons anymore. They want to play superheroes. So they decide that they want to go play superheroes, and the Cartman has to find a lost cat, and there's $100 reward. And with that $100 reward, there will be they could start their movie franchise. So that's the overall plot of that game. It is if you're a South Park fan, you'll enjoy it. If you're not a South Park fan, don't bother. The game is ridiculously easy, just as the first game was. And it is I don't know. It's fun to play while you're battling. Because they have a turn-based, they still have the turn-based RPG system, but this time they take position into account with this rudimentary like tactics type stuff. And it makes the game slightly more complicated, but it's still a game that's incredibly easy to play. This isn't something that this isn't Final Fantasy Tactics. This isn't Fire Emblem or anything like that. Like this is a dirt easy game trying to appeal to a mass audience, and it's just okay. Like the battling is fun. The problem is everything else isn't. Like you go around and there's a lot of walking, and yeah, there's a fast travel system, but still there's a lot of walking, a lot of opening cabinets, and it wouldn't be that bad. And it probably isn't that bad if you haven't played the Stick of Truth, but it's the same map, right? Like it's the same town. So I don't know. I could only recommend it to super hardcore South Park fans. Everyone else should probably just, I mean, if you're interested in it, I'd wait for it to go on like a deep sale. because other than that, you're not really, it doesn't really. I don't know. It's lost its luster, and maybe I'm just an old man now, and maybe I just don't like South Park as much as I used to. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
For those of you not watching this on YouTube, you wouldn't know that while Mike was talking, my lamp went out, and I managed to change the entire thing while Mike was talking about South Park. And I think he knew this because he was vamping a little bit while he was talking about the game.
Just a little bit.
Oh man. So like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, you can look at the little box of me scrambling to fix a light as Mike was talking about this.
That's how interested Brad is in the fractured butthole. Like,
I would have had more questions, except for the fact that I was frantically trying to change this lamp within 5 minutes time. I didn't even start the stopwatch. I have no idea how long we've been recording so far. Are you on black difficulty setting, by the way?
Yeah, and just like I thought, it's just a gag.
Okay,
like, it's just a gag. It doesn't make the game any like the game has a traditional difficulty setting, like easy, medium, hard.
Are you does this upset you, or are they handling it well?
I mean, there's really nothing to handle. They don't really address your race. Quite frankly, they go overboard in your gender this time. Like, they're like, are you a little boy or are you a little girl? And then you tell which one you are. And then Mr. Mackey's like, okay, well, Mr. Mackey defines what cisgender and transgender are. And he's like, okay, were you born a little boy, or were you born a little girl who now is a little boy? And then you decide whether or not you're cisgender or transgender, and then the only time they reference that is when the rednecks come and they're like, we don't like you cisgendered boys walking around our parts, and then you fight them, and that's it.
Okay.
Like they don't really go there. You know what I mean? And look, as much as South Park really goes for the jugular for certain things, they don't really address race too much. There was that one episode, the Naggers episode.
I have seen that one actually. So
yeah, and that's the only time they really go after race. So I really wasn't expecting them to tackle anything racial.
Okay.
But it is what it is. Just it's okay. It's okay. It's not that great.
Fair enough. Well, if you've not changing gears, if you've not subscribed to premium content, make sure you do that. You can go to densepixels.com/premium, sign up for just $5 a month or $50 for the entire year. That gets you access to a bevy of podcasts, including Look Forward, our political show, including the Airing of Grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues. We're recording the Casino Royale episode this weekend, so look forward to that. You also get weekly episodes of the Nerdpocalypse on video as well, if you are a premium member. So again, $5 a month, $50 for the whole year. And if you have not subscribed to Dense Pixels YouTube channel, go to youtube.com/densepixels, click the subscribe button. We post this podcast to YouTube every single week for you to check out. We also occasionally put up some Let's Plays. When we get back to doing video reviews, you will see them on there as well, and all sorts of other fun content for Dense Pixels. So again, youtube.com/densepixels. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so yet. So releases. Look, this is a typical holiday release week. There's a couple big titles. There's a lot of bullshit in the mix. So I'm just going to run down the list. Going to run it down. Coming out this week, all in local stores near you. The PC version of Destiny 2, Assassin's Creed Origins, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, Deer Hunter Reloaded, Hidden Agenda, The Inner World, The Last Ring Monk, Just Dance 2018, Knowledge is Power, Little Nightmares Complete Edition, Knights of Azure 2, Bride of the New Moon, Rapala Pro Fishing Series, Rugby 18, SingStar Celebration, and We Sing 2.
Um, wow. Deer Hunter Reloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't know they were still making Just Dance games. Like, is
Oh,
it still a
not
cash cow for that?
not only, Micah, not only are they still making Just Dance games, Just Dance 2018 is the latest release for the Nintendo Wii system.
Wow. Okay. They're still making Wii games.
They are. No, they're still making Just Dance games for the Wii. That doesn't qualify as they're still making Wii games. That is the only Wii game
Yeah.
that still gets made.
And Just Dance didn't really a game, more so as it's just like
It's an activity.
So yeah, someone mocapped, someone is filming people in mocapped suits and then overlaying some some neon effect on them.
Pretty much. That is exactly what it is.
Wow.
On the digital highlights, if Rapala Pro Fishing Series and Deer Hunter Reloaded was not enough to tickle your outdoor fancy, then you can check out Fishing Master VR for the PlayStation VR this week.
Wow.
And
I can't think of anything more boring than a virtual reality fishing game.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, because at least when you actually go fishing, you have beer. Usually, you have good conversation if you're going with somebody.
Right.
But yeah, virtual fishing, you don't get any of that.
Oh, goodness.
Some release date announcements for you guys. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is confirmed, coming for the Nintendo Switch, I think next year sometime. I think this was rumored before, but it was finally confirmed. It's also starting today, as we're recording this, Tuesday, the limited backwards compatibility for original Xbox games goes live on the Xbox One console. I don't have a list in front of me, but I'm sure if you use your Google machines, you can find it. And then the Hitman Game of the Year edition is coming on November 7th, which will have some additional content aside from the regular complete edition that came out before. So,
is that the 5 episodes into one
like
package?
Yeah.
All right. 13 games available at launch for the original Xbox: Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Ninja Gaiden Black, Crimson Skies, Fusion Frenzy, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, Psychonauts, Dead to Rights, Black, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Sid Meier's Pirates, Red Faction 2, Blood Rain 2, and King of Fighters Neo Wave.
There's some old school shooter fans that I'm sure really excited to be able to play Black on their Xbox One console.
I don't know why.
Didn't that game have like really good sound design or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I just don't know why you would want to just like you are spitting in technology's face by wanting to use this fucking big ass Xbox One plus SX9 or whatever it's called now to go back and play games from what, 20 years ago?
You're stretching it a little far, but you're not that far off base.
Jesus Christ.
And it's funny because like the most popular games from the original Xbox, like Halo 1 and Halo 2, you can already play on Xbox One. They already have the Master Chief Collection.
And you know what they did? They made them look better. They made them run better. Like that's okay. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't blame you. Like I said, I also don't understand these idiots that are going to buy this remanufactured Duke controller that's coming out.
I mean, what, you just hate your hands then, right? You just hate your hands.
So we'll in headlines this week we'll be resurrecting a fan favorite argument against a terrible controller. Don't you worry, because it's coming back again. Before we get to that story though, so Sony Music Entertainment is publishing games now. So a Sony music label publishing games. And they're publishing games on the Nintendo Switch. There's a game called Tiny Metal that comes out November 21st. It's a tactics style game. Think Advance Wars. It's coming out on PS4 and PC as well. But Switch is a platform that this Sony music group is publishing games for. So a lot of people thought that was really weird. It's actually not as weird as you may think. To me, it's no different than Nintendo publishing Super Mario Run on Sony Ericsson phones, because Sony Ericsson phones run Android, and that's a game. That's where Nintendo published Super Mario Run, for example.
Yeah, I think people get confused. Like, we live in a society where everything has to be on somebody's team, right? Like, you're either red or blue, you're the donkey or you're the elephant. You are on opposing sides all the time. You're either Marvel or DC. You can't like both. You can't, and companies don't necessarily operate that way. They operate in a way that will make them money. It's not like Sony is every aspect of Sony is run by like a Vince McMahon who has final say and who hates everything that's not Sony.
That's not even a great comparison, because Vince McMahon will literally deal with anyone who can make him money. Like if there was a situation that had come along in the 90s where it would have made sense to collaborate with WCW on something because it would have made a fuck ton of money, Vince McMahon absolutely would have done it.
Absolutely. So but people think that, oh wow, what? Sony is doing something for Nintendo? Like, that doesn't mean, no,
they're doing something for themselves. Like, they're publishing a game on a hot platform that a lot of independent games are currently thriving on right now. Like, that's a smart business move.
Right.
Especially when you don't have a portable console to market those games on.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't think too much of this story when it came out, but some people were like, oh, Sony's making games. I was like, slow the fuck. Yeah, it is a little weird that they are publishing it under this music label for some reason. I guess just to keep the video game side of it separate from this side of it, I suppose. But yeah, this is, I don't want to call it a non-story, but it's not a huge deal, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm still blown away that Sonic the Hedgehog is on Nintendo consoles.
Right. I mean, and that's been that way for 10 years now. You know what I mean? So, speaking of Nintendo Switch, the surprise update came out last week. Version 4.0 update added a couple notable features, most prevalent of which enabling video capture for select games, and the ability to transfer user profiles and save data from one console to another. Now, the video capture seems like it is going to be more of a glimpse of things to come. Right now, there's only 4 games that support the video capture. It's Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, ARMS, and Splatoon 2, as you might imagine. Mario Odyssey will also support it upon launch. You can only capture the last 30 seconds of video. There's no option to make that better or worse. I don't mind that rate of capture myself personally. I think if you're just introducing this feature, that's probably the right time length to go with.
Yeah.
The one feature that I wish that PlayStation had, that Xbox has, and now Nintendo has it too, is that 30-second capture. And you can set PlayStation to do 30-second captures, but that comes at the sacrifice of being able to do longer captures. Like, if you set it to 30 seconds, you can only set it to 30 seconds.
Right.
But I wish I could do that and like the 15-minute capture that I have it set for as well currently.
Yeah.
Once you have saved it, you can trim the clip and then upload it to Facebook or Twitter and share with your friends. The save transfer thing is another major shortcoming that let's be honest, it should have been with the console at launch. And what that'll do is, if you ever have to get a new Nintendo Switch for something, you can do a one-way transfer of all of your information. This is not to back up save files. This is not to be able to use multiple Switches simultaneously with your account. This is literally just to, like, if your Switch breaks or if you get another Switch for some reason and you want to make sure you keep all your stuff, that's what this feature is for, basically. Couple new updates. They added some new profile icons for Mario Odyssey. They added the ability to pre-order upcoming games in the eShop, which was something that was not done at first
for some strange reason. Now, can you preload?
That I don't think so. I don't think so.
All right.
And now you can also use USB wireless headsets on the Nintendo Switch as well.
Wow.
I know. Amazing. So those are the big features. I mean, I'm not blown away by anything. It's just normal hardware iteration that you would expect to see over time.
Yeah, I do like the fact that I can pre-order a game. You know,
I'm sure you do like that fact. Absolutely.
So
anything to make it easier for Micah to throw money at a company is something that he is for.
Yeah, especially because it probably won't happen often with Nintendo. So you better hurry up and do it while I'm thinking about it. You know what I mean? You got to catch me when I'm fiending for something.
I wonder what the refund policy is going to look like, if they'll even have one.
Oh, I doubt they'll have one.
Yeah.
I doubt they'll have one. I had to refund a pre-order for a game on Xbox, and yeah, all you gotta do is call, and the nice lady with the nice Southern accent helped me out eventually, and and getting my credit back. But it was easy.
I don't want to have to talk to a person though. Can't I just do like an online chat?
I know. I spent an hour trying to figure out how to not talk to somebody, but I couldn't do it. So,
speaking of new Nintendo Switch features, they also surprisingly added support this week for GameCube controllers. You still need to get the Wii U GameCube controller adapter that came out around the time Smash Brothers release, which is very difficult to find. And yeah, you plug it into the Switch dock and you plug your GameCube controllers into it, and now you're playing with GameCube controllers.
I hate the GameCube controller. It is the worst. It's the worst controller. It is.
It is up there. If it's not the worst, it's definitely top 3.
I don't understand. It looks weird. The button placement doesn't make sense. I just don't. I don't see why people love that controller. And if it was so great, they would have kept it. Like
it's true. That's true.
I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Well, this is fueling rumors now that Smash and or Virtual Console is right around the corner for the Nintendo Switch. I don't know that this announcement would make me think, because if you want to play GameCube games for the Virtual Console, like, you got the Pro controller.
Yeah.
Right there.
Can you imagine going back and playing those games with a real controller and be like, wow, this is fucking awesome.
What was I thinking all these years?
I can play Eternal Darkness with a real controller now. Could you imagine playing Smash with a standard controller?
I mean, the option to do that is out there, but there's still a lot of knuckleheads who choose not to, who insist on playing Melee with that terrible monstrosity.
They are wrong. Why haven't these Pro controllers gone down? I really need to get one for Mario.
It's one of those things, right? Because so while we rallied against Nintendo's pricing of controllers as being egregious, and make no bones about it, it is egregious how much they're charging for controllers. I get it though, because there is a lot of technology in those controllers. I mean, you have that big rechargeable battery, you have the RFID reader in the analog stick, you have the motion, the motion inside of the controller, the vibra. So I get it. Like it is a nice controller. It's just that's a high cost of entry to make someone pay for that. Yeah. But I love mine. Like the Switch Pro controller. I can say this because Terrence isn't here. It's better than the Xbox One controller. I'm just saying it's number 2.
Oh shit! All right. Well, I will find out and concur, and concur with you, or figure out whether or not I concur with that statement next week, because I'm getting one for Mario, because I can't.
It's got like the perfect weight and the perfect balance to me. I don't know. It's good. It's very good. It's better than the Xbox One controller. I stand behind that statement.
It's got the offset analogs. It's got the.
Well, I don't like that part of it. I'm talking about offset analogs. So that's a bunch of nonsense to me. But I'm willing to put up with it.
Yeah, so. Man, it looks like it might be decent. I just need to. I have no idea. I can't gauge.
Have you never handled one?
No.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't used one. Matter of fact, I'm going to buy one tomorrow.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know if we're gonna actually get a chance to see each other between now and the time Odyssey comes out. Otherwise, I'd bring mine with me and let you handle it. But
I mean,
obviously, if you're gonna go Micah it up, then you
know me. All right, I want it. Make it happen. Somebody, here's my card. Give it to me.
But yeah, fuck the GameCube controller. Let it die. Let it go away. It sucks. It's terrible. And look, there's a couple listeners to this show, I'm sure, that are GameCube controller diehards. I appreciate where you're coming from. I respect it. I know a lot of you grew up with the GameCube. I get it. You're wrong. You are wrong. The GameCube controller sucks. It's fucking terrible. Is it better than the N64 controller? Just barely. Maybe. And
that's only because, God forbid you get startled or something and you have to bring a controller to you because you're startled. You won't get stabbed in the fucking chest with that penis that the 64 controller has.
I mean, the N64 controller does have better shoulder buttons than the GameCube controller does.
Yo, those springy motherfuckers. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Like they were, let's make it high, but then put a big ass divot in it so that it fits you. Nah, man. Nah.
The giant A button.
It's the most unresponsive thing ever. Oh, you could play it through walls. What? Why would I want to do that? I don't need to do that. I just need it to feel good in my hands. God damn it.
And now people are going to be crawling over themselves to find these fucking adapters just so that they can play. What do I even play right now? The GameCube controller, Pokken Tournament, Arms.
Yeah, I can't imagine anything like. I don't know. Controller's a piece of shit, guys. Sorry, it just is.
So, Destiny 2 news, your weekly Destiny 2 update, I feel like, with this show. So Bungie went to TwitchCon last week, and they talked about one of the more uncertain things that's been in Destiny 2, and that is seasons. They've talked about seasons before. They never really explained it, and now they have. So basically, seasons are there to give they say to give players a quote more predictable cadence for content updates. They expect to have 4 seasons per year, so each season will last about 3 months. Makes sense. When the seasons change, you'll see a couple things. You'll see new cosmetic items. The stuff that comes in bright engrams will be different. There'll be different themes, they say, in this player experience, whatever that's supposed to mean. When the seasons change, you'll see the big tuning updates for the game, like the balance changes and how different guns are balanced and things of that nature. They did say that the Dawning is coming back to the tower for the season when season 2 starts. You'll be able to play different casual mini games. So right now you can play soccer. Somehow they're adding hockey to this. You'll also be able to throw snowballs apparently during the Dawning. They have some Dawning themed gear, which looks pretty cool. I like the blue and white aesthetic on the gear that they have a picture of in here. Yeah. Clan rank will reset with season 2. I kind of figured that would happen because they made that pretty apparent. Apparently the perks will also change for clans as well. So like right now there's a list of perks that when your clan reaches a certain level, you get some bonuses. They're going to completely change what those bonuses are from season to season. And apparently they're doing a event called the Clarion Call that is happening right before the end of season 1, which will basically, I'm assuming it's a week-long event that will give players double XP. So basically you'll earn twice as many bright engrams as you go. They're also changing the faction rally. It says that you'll be able to earn faction armor merely by playing and representing your faction, not just through the token system. And they also admitted that the token system, as I said last week, might not have been the best idea for Iron Banner. So they're going to fix Iron Banner in season 2. You'll have the option to purchase the Iron Banner guns directly with legendary shards and tokens. And then you also get new ornaments for the armor that you can add to it as well to change the appearance.
No word on buying armor.
It does not mention that. It just says directly purchase Iron Banner guns with tokens and legendary shards. So I'm assuming. So what it sounds like, is it sounds like that the armor will come in drops, much like the. So I'm reading into this now. So it looks like the guns you'll be able to buy with tokens and shards, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you'll get the armor maybe how they used to do it before, where you get them in drops like post Crucible match. And then the ornaments will be stuff that you can chase. That's not like necessary, but it's you'll get some fun stuff that you can chase down. If that makes sense. So, okay. Yes. And they also said that unfortunately, they will not be holding their annual Halloween event, Festival of the Lost, this year. He said the Dawning will be the first seasonal event, and we may see the Festival of the Lost down the road one day.
Yeah, like next year.
So thoughts, Micah, on this news?
All right. They're listening, right? And I don't know. I'm still in like a wait and see mode. Like I haven't written off Destiny like some people have. I still get on there, even if it's just like to kill time or whatever, or chase after NPC specific armor, which is a fucking chase. But I want certain characters to look certain ways in that armor. And I'm still trying to, I don't do a lot of multiplayer stuff, right? So I'm still trying to get my Titan to 305. I'm at 302. And so yeah, I'm game. I'm not like super excited, but also I'm not like fuck Destiny. Like that doesn't make sense to me.
There was and we'll talk about it because it got discussed in our fan group yesterday, densepixels.com/fans. There was some consternation because a lot of people have been making videos and writing articles about, Destiny 2 has lost 80% of its player base. There's, this, that, or the other, because they're looking at concurrent user counts and how it's changed from launch day to 7 weeks later. And it's such a, like, I will never understand. And Michael posted this in our fan group, and I'm not throwing this opinion at Michael because I know he doesn't feel this way about it. But I will never understand the compulsion of people on the internet when something is flying high. They just have to try to take it down in some way,
only to build it right back up when it gets updated or whatever. Same thing with fighting games. Fighting game will launch and it'll be like hot shit, and then a month later, it's like, all right, well, I'm kind of done with this because all the casuals are like, oh, okay, I got to play as Captain America and Rocket Raccoon, and I got to fight, Dante and Mega Man. I'm done. And but the people who are still having fun with it are still having fun with it. Like every game has that attrition.
Mm-hmm. So well, and to the point where the so Destiny Tracker is like the preeminent site for tracking Destiny stats, essentially. And they actually took today, as we're recording this on Tuesday, they took down their population statistics. And they said they did that because people were using them to spread false narratives about the game because they didn't know how to use the information correctly. Because like they said, like, so when you're looking at concurrent user counts, let's say that, okay, they had 3 million people concurrently on, September 6th when the game came out. And then on October 20th, they have, only 400,000 people, playing concurrently. Yeah, that's how many people are playing at that specific time or at the peak of that specific day. But let's say that I didn't play, Destiny on October 20th. I'm not done playing Destiny. I just didn't play it on October 20th.
Right.
Like not everybody no one who plays Destiny is playing it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I think when you look at concurrent users, that's a very dangerous way to kind of frame this false narrative about how a game is doing or not doing. And the same goes for like No Man's Sky was the other famous one where people are like, wow, they had 2 million copies sold, but there's only 100,000 people playing it 3 weeks later. Now No Man's Sky is a little bit different situation because that one you can legitimately say a little bit more about it, but you can't just look at the concurrent user count for a given day and say, oh, that's how many people are still playing the game.
Right.
Like that's how many people play that day. So it's annoying that Destiny Tracker had to take these stats offline. I support why they did it. I get it. But people just need to chill the fuck out. Chill the fuck out. Destiny 2, much like Destiny 1, much like any online MMO, is a living game. Things are going to change periodically over time. Apparently the live team is now in charge of the game. The live team is the team that is most in charge of bringing the updates forward. The PC version just came out today. I have a feeling that Bungie was probably holding back on making a lot of widespread changes to the game until the PC version came out.
Yeah.
So because that way they're not having to shift gears in development while they're trying to release this big game, which is gonna there's gonna be a lot of people fucking playing this game on PC. I don't know if you realize, because a lot of people really want that uncapped uncapped frame rate.
It looks beautiful. Like I've seen video of it. It looks amazing. And
right.
That was just video. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand. When does the first expansion come out?
December sometime.
When did the game come out?
September.
3 months?
Of September. Yeah. 3.5 months. Sure. Why not?
All right. 3.5 months. Everybody calm down. You wish a game gave you additional content 3 months after launch. I don't know.
Just settle down. Like I said, it doesn't have to be the sky is falling every time. Sometimes the game is just the game, and tweaks and adjustments will be made, and it's okay. Just roll with it. We've seen this before.
Yeah.
And trust me, we are not in the position. And again, I didn't play Destiny 1 when it came out. You did, so you can speak to this more than I can. We are not in the position that we were in with Destiny 1 at this point.
Look, with Destiny 1, I was one of those people who played it, got what I needed out of it, took long stretches of time away from it, and then came back to it. One, because I like the way the game plays, and two, because more stuff came out. And then I would burn through that stuff, and then I would take a break, because you burn yourself out on it. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to, it's not like it's a game that you can beat. You know what I mean? So, and then you would never touch it again anyway. I can't, I don't know. You burn yourself out on it. And if you choose to burn yourself out on it, then yeah, of course you're going to be bored. If you have all three characters at 305, the best you can do, and I don't know, man, get a job.
I'm gonna make a statement that's you could say is controversial, and maybe you'll even disagree with me. And if you do disagree with me, I that's fine. But if you play Destiny 2 for over 100 hours in 7 weeks, and you complain because Bungie doesn't have a never-ending stream of new content for you to sink your teeth into, when you put over 100 hours of a game in 7 weeks' time, I don't think that's Bungie's problem. I think that's your problem. I mean, am I wrong about that?
I don't
Micah?
think you're wrong about that. I don't think you're wrong about it. And look, as long as people are having fun, like, who cares? If you want to take a break, go ahead, take a break. I ain't mad at you.
There's plenty of other games to play right now.
I'm going to take a break Friday when Mario comes out.
Actually, me too, for that matter.
So
I'm like, I'll still log in on Tuesday and Wednesday and do my milestones and do all that stuff. But yeah, I'll scale back when Mario comes out, because I'll have another game to sync up 30 hours of my life.
I think it's there are certain people who exist on the internet, like you said, to tear stuff down, and other people kind of get caught up in it, like, oh, this is interesting, you know what I mean? Like Michael, like he was like, oh wow, this is interesting. But like most people aren't as smart as our fans who are like, oh, okay, this is interesting, and moving on. Like, I have my opinion of the game, moving on. Like, some people would see that article and they would pull a Terrence and be like, see, glad I ain't buy it. Told you it was fucking whack, yo. Or whatever. That's my Terrence impression right now.
It's a terrible Terrence impersonation.
Terrence would never say. I hate white people, yo.
There you go. That's more on target. That's more on target. Our friends are smart.
Yeah,
I agree with that statement. That's really what you have to pull out of this whole discussion.
Yeah.
Dense Pixels has the smartest fans.
Yeah. Someone in that thread, I think it was Aaron, broke down specifically why, crying about the sky falling when it comes to Destiny is fucking dumb. And it was as eloquent a statement as I've seen Aaron make. So,
And look, I mean, ultimately, this comes from a place of people who have a game that enjoy playing the game, that want more stuff to play. And I totally get that. But you can only make content so fast. You know what I mean? It takes time to develop stuff. It does. I mean, and you can be one of these tin hat, video game conspiracy theorists that think that developers make the entire game and then just slice off parts to, trickle like breadcrumbs throughout the life of the game. But that's not actually how development works, especially for a game like Destiny 2.
Right.
So, like I said, enjoy what you're doing. And look, if you've exhausted the content, if there's not much more going on, take a break. Like I said, do the Tuesday, Wednesday log in, knock your milestones out, get some gear, or don't. Play some other stuff, and when Osiris comes out, hop back in.
You'll be right back into it.
Yep. And that's okay.
It'll be like taking a Destiny Cialis. You'll be ready.
And in all honesty, you'll probably be happy to get the breather.
Yeah.
To be quite frank.
Yeah.
So, not me though. I'm just going to keep playing it. Like I said, until Mario Odyssey comes out, then I'll scale back a little bit, but I'll still probably be playing a lot of Destiny.
I know, right? Like, I thought I would scale back when South Park came out, and you know what I did? I just started playing Destiny on my Xbox. I'm like, oh yeah, I have it for this. I'll just play this.
I still can't fathom why you're bothering with the Xbox version.
Because I'm dumb.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with that statement.
That was the most genuine, heartfelt. Like, yeah, you're kind of dumb.
Finally, in headlines, some sad news. WB, this was rumored, but they finally released an official statement. They are ending development of Lego Dimensions, the Toys to Life Lego game. This is a little sad because when the game came out, they promised 3 years of support for the game. They did 2 years of support. I'm not shocked that they are canceling this. I mean, the writing has been on the wall for Toys to Life. Of course, Disney Infinity went away last year. Skylanders is not releasing a new set for the first time in 6 years this year. And I'm sure sales for Lego Dimensions were also not great and probably didn't have the sustained success that they were looking for. So they're calling it a day. That said, my wife really likes Lego Dimensions, and apparently it was a good little product that they put out there, and a lot of folks dig it quite a bit. So this is a sad day for them. But another bubble in the video game industry has burst officially now, finally.
I completely forgot. Like, I did not know that Skylanders and Disney Infinity and all that stuff was just kind of done. Like, I mean, I guess I never really paid attention to it to begin with, but I don't remember anything, like seeing any headlines like this saying, you know what, this whole toys and video games thing is kind of done.
Amiibo's still going strong, however, ironically.
Well, because people like Carrie are psychopaths, man. They are Nintend-hos, man. They would do anything for Nintendo.
Oh my God, how has that term never made its way onto the show yet at this point? Oh man.
So I don't expect amiibos to go anywhere. Which I guess is a testament to Nintendo, right? Like this thing is still going strong, or at least their properties.
Mm-hmm.
It's still this thing is still going strong when Disney failed and EA failed and WB failed at it.
So let me ask you this question: What do you think the next fad bubble that's going to burst in the game industry is?
VR.
Does that even qualify right now?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's too much of a game to be a gimmick. Like when you introduce plastic instruments and plastic toys into your video games, like those are going to be a fad. I won't say it'll be a flash in the pan. They'll be around for maybe like 5 years, but then it'll be done. I can't think of anything right now that would I can't think of any other like inanimate object that you can interject into video games. Books maybe, but like that was the Wonder Book, right? Like that thing never got off the ground. And I can't imagine people, like I don't know how that would work. The only other thing that I can think of is what Quantum Break did. Well, was that the name of the game?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if that's the game you're referring to, yeah.
The Xbox game that had a television series attached to it.
Oh yeah, that definitely is. That was a one-off thing anyway. That wasn't even I'm trying to think of stuff that's kind of like ubiquitous around the game industry right now. You think loot boxes will ever go away?
No, they make too much money.
Okay.
They make too much money. You would have to interject like you would have to combine board games and video games or something like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the two just don't, like, they're similar, but they don't match. Like they don't go well together. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, there is a fad that might, who knows, maybe going away at some point, which we'll talk about when we get to top stories. But that's about it for headlines. So real quick, before we get on the top stories, just a reminder, the holidays are coming right around the corner. They'll be here before you know it. Many of you guys shop on Amazon.com, as people are wont to do. So when you shop on Amazon, do us a favor, help your boys at the Dense Pixels podcast, your favorite video game podcast, and use our Amazon link whenever you make any purchases, big or small, from Amazon. What is the link, you ask? It's a fair question. densepixels.com/Amazon. When you go to densepixels.com/Amazon, you see the same Amazon storefront. You pay the same Amazon prices. The only difference is that we get a very small 3 to 4% percentage of your sale, which we use to pay for overhead fees for the podcast, like hosting fees, equipment fees, things like that. We thank every one of you guys that has used our Amazon link and continue to use it. And again, if you haven't done it yet, it's real easy. densepixels.com/Amazon. Once you get to Amazon, click that little bookmark button. That way, you don't even have to type it in every time. You can just click on your bookmark and you're good to go. So again, densepixels.com/Amazon for anything you buy off Amazon.com, big or small.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. NeoGAF, the preeminent forum for video game. I'm sorry, I can't even, because NeoGAF, the preeminent forum for video game discussion, was offline for a good stretch of time. The trouble began when allegations of sexual assault, here we go, were levied against the site's owner, Tyler the Molester Malka, who goes by the handle Evilor, the evil sexual predator.
And I know what you're thinking. Wow, those guys might get sued for slander at some point. We really won't.
Nope.
We really won't. So
nope. Call this motherfucker whatever I want. He looks like, you know how like they're the Trump kids, right? Like there's like two of them are like quote unquote normal in terms of looks, and then the other two look like sloth's DNA kind of snuck in there with Eric and Tiffany. Like, this guy looks like the sloth version of Don Jr. Like, he looks like a fucking pervert. He does, man. And okay. Bottom line is, this guy has been accused of being an asshole to people, and a lot of NeoGAF users were doing what they call suicide posts, trying to get banned because they said "fuck this guy," and it caused him to.
Oh, not just users, Micah, mods,
yeah, mods also, which is, I mean, like, when are we gonna realize that women are human beings?
This guy does have. I just looked up a Google search of images of this fellow. Mm-hmm. He does have a creepy face.
Yeah, he does.
He does.
He has. He looks like he should be. He looks like he should be like the killer in like a movie. Like, he looks like Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman should be fucking finding this guy.
You know who he looks like?
Cuts
you know who he looks like?
Head off.
Looks like Jared Kushner.
He kind of does. Oh shit. He kind of does.
So let's cover this from the beginning. So first of all, neither of us were really GAF users. I was shocked when other like games media outlets that I listen to podcasts from or follow online were like aghast at the possible death of NeoGAF, because they're like, oh man, we go to NeoGAF for like, this is where you go to get like the inside scoop and all the news and stuff like that. And that's the way it's always been. I don't think I've ever been to NeoGAF.
The only time I've been to NeoGAF is when someone leaks fighting game information and they link NeoGAF. And then when I go there, I'm like, this is NeoGAF? Like, this is the bastion of video game news that well-respected journalists go to for information?
Right. And it's like people talk about it like it's kind of like the anti-4chan, right? Like it's 4chan, but it's adults and people are behaving in an adult fashion. A lot of like insiders post in there and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's still just an internet message board, and it comes with all the trappings that an internet message board includes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is not I wouldn't even know where to go. I wouldn't even like this. And look, I don't use Reddit. I imagine that this is what Reddit is also.
Yes and no. I do kind of use Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Less frequently, more and more.
I'm not knocking you if you do. I just don't get it. Like, I wouldn't go to this place for information, news, or rumors, because I don't like dealing in rumors. You know what I mean?
So, but what had happened was this guy, Tyler Malka, basically had some sexual assault accusations levied against him. And apparently a lot of the mods on the site got pissed, right? And basically were jumping ship to that, which led to the forum losing their minds, and they had to shut it down because it was just out of control. Because when you lose a lot of your moderators, it's kind of hard to keep things from going, Wild West.
Yeah,
in there for sure. Now, this guy Tyler Malka, if you'd like to read about what these allegations, the brunt of them, Waypoint has a really good article that you should check out if you want the full information about it. But one would think that if someone had accused you of sexually assaulting not just one woman, but also several women, apparently, you would be a little bit more contrite in your response to that.
Not the molester Malka. He began his statement with a categorical denial of the allegations against him. Quote, "The individual making the accusations isn't credible," he said, at the beginning of the statement. This story doesn't reconcile logically with the facts, and there's plenty of evidence and witnesses to corroborate that. He went on to describe how he became aware of the pending accusation, his slow response to it, and the mass departure of moderators over the weekend, seen as a protest against him and the allegations he's faced. He characterized most of the walkouts as due to stress and harassment, and that some of the mods had hit their emotional limit because I'm a pervert, because users were coming after them. He goes on to say that since this whole mess lasting from Friday morning through Saturday, before we formally went offline for maintenance and repair, we've just been trying to figure out the best course of action for NeoGAF going forward. Look,
to be clear, and the reason I tell you to go check out this Waypoint article, which was written by Pastor Klebik, is because he actually reached out to the principals in this story and interviewed them about it. And like this dude, classic, sexual predator 101, through it, like, talked about how this girl, like, oh no, it's her mental illness that calls her to say these things.
All right, yo. All right. Because some chick didn't want you groping her, she's got to have some sort of mental illness. All right. Maybe you're just a fucking creep.
And look, and to be clear, like I've been learning some stuff about GAF with this story. And look, NeoGAF was a site that they were among the first people to call it, like the first people in the games journalist space to call Gamergate what it was, a load of shit. You know what I mean? And they didn't give it credence. They didn't give it a platform on their site. Like, so these are not, like, the people that run this place, that moderate the site, are not people that you would expect this story from. I'm just going to show you that, all shapes and sizes for, this sexual misconduct, all this stuff we're finding out about over these past several weeks. Now that the dam seemed to have broken.
This whole thing is just disturbing on so many levels. Like all of it, like not just with this space or with movies or with the president. Like these are people that are getting caught, and it's being made, people are paying attention to it because of these famous people. If these people are getting caught, can you imagine what's going on in the real world where, Joe Smo in bumfuck Pennsylvania is doing to some woman right now? Like, this is really fucking depressing me. And I don't know what to do. Like, I feel like I need to go fight people, but I can't fight everybody. And it just doesn't, like, why can't people just be human beings? I don't understand. And then like, some people have been taken advantage of to the point where they're so fucked up that they'll hear me saying this and they'll be like, yeah, but I still don't trust you. You sound like you're protesting a little too much. And I can't even be mad at that, right? Because, like, that person's situation has caused them to have that mentality because someone was being a fucking asshole.
I think what gets lost in especially with the not me movement that you've seen on Facebook and Twitter over the past several weeks, this isn't just a forum for women and some men also to air out their dirty laundry, be like, I've been holding on to this, and you should know that this is something that's happened to me too. Like, men need to take it upon themselves to see this and realize maybe I've been an asshole too, and to think back on, like, past behaviors as well, and think about what you could even if you've never been sexually assaulted as a man, think about what you could do, things that you might have done that maybe has made someone feel uncomfortable, and over the course of your life, and think of how you can change also to be better. Because it's not just on people getting their story out. It's not just about the worst of the worst stories. Like, this is a moment, I feel like, where people really need to take stock of who they are and what they've done. And like I said, I there's things that I've done when I was like a dumb kid that at the time were funny, but now I'm like, man, what if I was kind of an asshole when I did that? And nothing egregious, obviously. But like it's just stuff that it's just like, man, like I wonder if this like this time that I was like goofing off, like if I, if someone felt uncomfortable because of that, I don't know. You know what I mean? But the fact that I have kind of, sat back and thought about that, that's kind of the whole point of this.
Yeah.
So
this is so fucking sad, man.
And trust me when I tell you, shed no tears for fucking Tyler Malka, because this is a guy who has talked explicitly about his past with stuff like this. Here's a quote from him in 2012. This is him speaking about himself, by the way. And this is a direct quote. At one point in a bar, a girl who didn't speak any English came up to me and started flirting heavily, then went straight into asking me to buy her a drink. When I didn't know what the hell was going on, I laughed because drinks here were all €2, but consented, and then grabbed her ass hard to show that I wasn't being taken advantage of, and she thought better of treating me as a mark and left without taking her drink. Like this is the guy that we're dealing with this particular story.
All right, yo. She was taking advantage of you for €2. All right, dude. Like the shit just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Because you're not an asshole. Men are assholes. Like that is a huge moral of the story that also needs to be taken from everything that's been going on for the last couple weeks. Fucking men need to do better.
Yeah, man.
And if you're out there listening to me say that, and you're like, men don't have to do better, you're probably the type of guy that I'm talking about. Just saying.
I don't know.
So, but apparently GAF's back online and their users are angry.
Good. Oh, we get shut down. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I don't use you anyway. I don't know anybody that does. If you use NeoGAF, let me know and tell me why. Because I'm very curious. Sad news. EA shuts down Visceral Games and is overhauling the Star Wars game that they were working on. So Visceral Games, for those of you that don't know, was purchased by EA. I can't remember.
Oh, it's been many years at this point.
It's been a good long while, and they are known for making they are most famously known for making the Dead Space games. The games that were scary and then turned into they were, from what I hear, Alien 1, and then they turned into Alien 2 by the end of it. Or Aliens.
And you don't mean that as a compliment.
Right. I mean, like, they used to be scary, and now they're just like, yeah, bro, let's fucking do this. But yeah, EA is closing down Visceral Games, who have been working on this new Star Wars game since 2013. And the Star Wars game, was it 1313?
No, this was not 1313. This was a new game that they actually pulled Amy Hennig from Naughty Dog to do the story for.
That's right. They wanted to do a linear story based game in the vein of Uncharted, and who else you get but Mrs. Perfect, Amy Hennig, to come and head that up. The head of EA's executive vice president, Patrick Soderlund, is quoted as saying, "Throughout the development process, we have been testing the game concept with players, listening to their feedback about what and how they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot the design. We will maintain the stunning visuals, authenticity in the Star Wars universe, and focus on bringing a Star Wars story to life. Importantly, we are shifting the game to be a broader experience that allows for more variety and player agency, leaning into the capabilities of our Frostbite engine and reimagining central elements of the game to give players a Star Wars adventure of greater depth and breadth to explore. So it sounds like the game is going from a linear-based Uncharted style game to Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Buckle up, because it's about to get angry from here. Now, let me just say that it is possible that the development of this game by Visceral was a complete clusterfuck, and the studio had to get shut down to salvage what assets they could from the game to make a different type of game. That's possible, and we'll never know, because unless someone anonymously talks about it or not anonymously talks about it, we'll never know what actually happened with this, right?
Right.
I preface what I'm about to say with that, just so you know that I could be completely talking out of my ass, and this could be a righteous move by EA, and that's what it is. However, I don't believe that to be the case, Micah. And that statement that you just read, I believe, helps back up that point. Micah, do you know a company, a video game publisher whom I respect?
BioWare.
I do respect BioWare, but the answer that I'm about to give you might surprise you.
They're a developer. Yeah, they're a developer.
Yeah, they're a developer as well.
What is that company?
That company, Micah, is Activision.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you why. Because Activision is a company that has done a lot of really pro-business, anti-consumer things you can make the argument for.
Yep.
This is a company that once passed on the publishing of a Ghostbusters video game because they, quote, couldn't annualize it and put out a new game every year. This is a company who basically invented the season pass with Call of Duty. This is a company who re-released a 10-year-old game and then didn't even put the DLC into the game and charged you separately for it down the road. Okay? This company has done all those things. Why do I respect this company, Micah? Because you know who they are. They don't shy away from the fact that they are this asshole company who's here to make fucking money and make them dollars, and they lay all of their shitty business practices out in front of you, and you can say, man, I don't like Activision, I'm not going to buy their shit. You know who's a company I don't respect? Fucking EA. Because EA is a company that will sit here and they're saying, hey, we know you may not like the fact that we make $1 billion a year in FIFA. We know that you don't like the fact that we took away Madden's competition and now have the only football game in town. We know you don't like the loot boxes that we're putting in Star Wars Battlefront, but we do those things to make money so that we can also develop these other independent games that are coming out, so that you can get your Mirror's Edge 2, so you can get your Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, so you can get your Star Wars fucking adventure game from Visceral Games. We make all this money so that we can make these other games, and that we know that gamers really love to enjoy, and we need to have FIFA, and we need to have Star Wars Battlefront, and we need to have Madden so that we can have money in our coffers, so that we can maybe lose some money on a game that might not be as commercially successful, but we know is a really good game and critically. And then they fucking close the studio that's making the Star Wars game that everybody wants, supposedly. Fuck off, EA. Fuck off.
Man, that is a rare treat.
Do not piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. If you're gonna be a shitty fucking corporate grab at, cash bag company, that's fine. But fucking be that company and don't pretend to be this fucking white knight savior that's like, no, we're still making indie games, we're still publishing, fucking great single player experiences and this, that. Fuck off. Fuck off. Liars. Am I still bitter about what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda? Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Is that fueling part of this rant? You better believe it. You better fucking believe it. But EA can get the fuck out of my face. Get that dirty bullshit out the fuck of my face right now. And rant.
Goodness. That was That was amazing. That was amazing. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong? That's the question I'm asking.
You're not wrong. And that was exactly EA's MO, right? Like, just what you said, like, well, we're still little indie darlings, and we'll put out your Unraveled or whatever that game was, you know what I mean? But at the expense of neutering the rest. Now, a while ago,
and again, before you get to that point, I am the most like I wouldn't go as far to say that I'm a corporate apologist on this podcast, but I will play devil's advocate for corporations all the time because I get it. I understand how business works. I understand what you got to do to make money. I understand what you got to do to keep your company profitable. I understand it. EA, I've gone to bat for you. I railed against people on the internet who called you the worst company in America. It's ridiculous. It's still ridiculous. I wouldn't go as far to say that you're the worst company in America. You at least get to be in the bracket now for being dicks.
Congratulations, EA. You are now inducted into the Sweet 16 of worst companies in America.
Like I said, if I'm getting pissed off about this, something's fucked up.
Oh, man. Maxis, creators of... they were bought by EA in 1997. They created The Sims in 2000. They were shut down in 2004. Kesmai created the MMORPG forerunner Island of Kesmai in 1985, and Air Warrior in 1987. They were brought by EA in 1999 and shut down in 2001. Pandemic Studios created Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Full Spectrum Warrior, and Destroy All Humans.
And the Saboteur, I think.
And the Saboteur, bought by EA in 2008, which I'd like to guess when they were shut down.
2010?
2009.
Oh, right after the Saboteur came out. Okay.
DreamWorks Interactive, creator of Medal of Honor, bought by EA in 2000 and rebranded as EA Los Angeles, then rebranded again as Danger Close in 2010, folded into DICE Los Angeles in 2013. These EA is what that dude from the Matrix thinks that human beings are. A virus. You come in and you suck up everything and then you shit everything out. And you take what's good. You're vultures, EA.
You don't even take what's good because you're not taking advantage of the talent that you have when you acquire them. You know what I mean? Like you acquire these studios, you're like, hey, make this game, and they make it, and it doesn't, live up to the probably ridiculous financial expectations that you set for it. You're like, all right, out of here. And again, a publisher closing down game studios is not new. Right. It's not uncommon, and it's also not unnecessary. Sometimes that does have to happen. But like when your track record is the track record that EA has right now, if you're an independent studio and EA comes to acquire you, run as far away as you can the other direction and be like, hey, we'll enter into a publishing agreement with you and you can publish our games, but you get no say over anything to do with it.
Where do you think this will leave BioWare after?
Oh, I'm fucking terrified for BioWare. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like Anthem had better be the destiny of its day. Otherwise, who the fuck knows? So BioWare is they make a very different style of game now. Do you attribute that to EA's influence, or do you attribute that to just the evolution of what modern gaming is today? In BioWare's case, I attribute it to the latter. Now, obviously, when you're looking at like Mass Effect, for example, and you see like the addition of a co-op multiplayer mode, like that you can attribute to EA. Mm-hmm. But I think as far as like the changes in how like the dialogue selection system works in BioWare games and how the structure of BioWare games are, I think that's more of an evolution of the genre and not so much an EA influenced, hey, you have to make your game this way. Frankly, I don't think BioWare is a company that would succumb as much to that as other companies would, if that makes sense.
I don't know. I see what you're saying, but I feel like part of the reason why a lot of old school BioWare heads, lead writers and story developers and stuff like that are leaving might be because of the culture has changed.
I mean that you now when you talk about it like that, it certainly is a question that's worth asking.
Yeah. And that definitely influences, we're BioWare marks, right? We love BioWare games, and we treat them with kid gloves, but I agree with you. Anthem better be it better hit like the first Mass Effect hit. Like,
but then again,
nowhere.
On the flip side of that, if it is a mega success, then guess what? BioWare is now the Anthem developer.
Yeah.
And that's all it's going to be, because they're like, why would we want you to make a new Dragon Age game when we can just have you pump out more content for Anthem, because we'll make more money off the content from Anthem than we would off a Dragon Age game.
Yeah.
And that's what it's going to turn into. And maybe BioWare, maybe that's what they want. I can't speak for them. I can't speak for Casey Hudson and the team that's running the show over there. Perhaps they see what Bungie's doing. But the difference between Bungie and other developers is that Bungie is a company that has complete, I don't want to say complete, but they have way more control over how Destiny is shaped than BioWare would have over how Anthem is shaped, I feel like. Because Bungie is a publishing partner with Activision. They are not a studio that is owned by Activision. They are still an independent studio that just has a publishing agreement with Activision. Now, Activision, I'm sure, had some say when it comes to like the silver system in Destiny. I wouldn't be surprised if that was done with input from Activision. Maybe it wasn't. Who knows? But I don't think that BioWare would get the same leeway from EA that Bungie gets from Activision.
Yeah.
Like shit, you don't even see an Activision logo in Destiny 2. You see a Bungie logo.
Yeah, you don't.
Case in point.
Yeah. Well, EA couldn't wait to slap their logo on the front of Mass Effect.
Like I said, when I saw this story, like this was just it. Like this was it. You have the formula, and again, maybe maybe Visceral just doesn't have it. Maybe they lost their way. Maybe the game was in development hell. No one's going to know the answer to that question except for EA and Visceral. But you have a studio with a track record of making some excellent single player games. You brought in one of the people credited with shaping the story of one of the best story-driven games franchises in recent memory. I don't see how you're going to miss. And you have a property that people will snap up in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Like that's a recipe for success. And just because you can't
no matter what that game did, it had Star Wars on it. It was going to sell.
Right. And because you're looking at fundamental shifts in the marketplace, and because you need to pivot the design to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come. Read between the lines. Because we couldn't figure out a way to shove as many microtransactions and or loot boxes into this game to make money off it after the fact.
Right.
We're going to pivot the design to something else.
Kind of hard to have loot boxes in a single player corridor shooter. You know what I mean? Like it's story driven with a story driven narrative.
And again, it's not that hard. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 4 are all games with multiplayer and all games with microtransactions. They're not the driving force behind the game. So Naughty Dog's not getting fucking rich off of Uncharted 3 fucking money. But they were making some extra income. And they brought out a fucking 10 out of 10 game. That last time I checked, Uncharted 4, how many copies did that sell, Micah? 8 million? That seems like a lot. I wonder if Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to sell 8 million copies. It probably will. But Sony sold 8 million Uncharted 4s on one console. And people, and spoilers, people weren't buying Uncharted 4 for the fucking multiplayer. How about that? This story fucking fired me up, man. I was just, I read this and I just like something in me just fucking snapped, and I was just like, I'm ready to. I'm surprised that I still have this level of irritation for this story a week later, because I thought that the fact because the story dropped like on Tuesday, of course, right after we recorded last week, and I thought for sure that I was going to like after a week I'll cool down and I'll be calm and I'll see, well, maybe EA had a point and this. No, I'm more pissed than I was, and that it's that statement that you can sit there and just kind of just look right in between the lines and see what Patrick Soderlund is actually saying when he says that statement. That just fucking riles me up, man. And again, I have been the biggest EA defender for years that I know. Everyone around me is like, EA's fucking trash. They're this fucking trash company. I'm like, yeah, I get it, guys, but look, they come out with Unraveled, and they come out with all these other indie darling games. Look, they're the one AAA publisher that actually gives a shit about the fucking art house games. No, fuck it. They're done. I'm and like I said, I wish I could say that I'm done with EA. I can't. I still play, FIFA incessantly. I still will get the next Dragon Age game or whatever other Mass Effect piece of shit comes out. I'll still probably end up getting Anthem, and that pisses me off that I am that way. I wish I had the principles to be like, fuck EA. I'm not gonna be a customer of theirs anymore. But I fucking know that I can. And it drives me nuts that I'm privy to their whims. But
oh man,
I do have a podcast that I can yell about it on. So
there you go. That's how you got to let out your anger, man.
That's probably the biggest rant that I've ever had on the show about anything.
It was wonderful. Like, I usually don't post, I usually don't advertise the shows on my personal Facebook page. Oh, I'm doing it with this one. I was like, you gotta hear this.
There is a broad question though that does need to be asked in relation to this news. Do you think that this is the bellwether for the eventual decline of AAA single player experiences?
God, I hope not. But I could easily see us sliding down this slope. And because the way video games are now, the way the industry is now, and the way these machines can, just like they literally can just send shit to you as long as you like, it's easier than ever before to impulse buy something. I hope not, because I really do love single player games, man. Like, not everything has to be, when it comes to video games, not everything has to be competition based, and not everything has to be cooperative based. Sometimes I just want to fucking get an experience. I don't need to. I like the theater experience, the communal like theater experience, but I don't need it to enjoy a movie. You know what I mean? And video games were like that for me. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's never going to go away completely. Because I think that there are a couple publishers out there, think CD Projekt Red, for example, or developers rather. And well, they're a publisher too, I guess. CD Projekt Red, first party developers that I think will carry the flame for that. Like Sony, it does too well with their narrative single player driven games to abandon ship on that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're a Microsoft user, sorry. I don't hold out too much hope for you. Nintendo, of course, they're always going to make great single player focused games for sure.
They're in a class by themselves. I don't include
right
this conversation.
But yeah, man, I mean, it's it is hard. It is harder and harder for me to see a landscape in the immediate future where your Activisions, your EAs, your 2K game, or your Take-Twos, think of your WB games, your Capcoms, to make these games. The Capcom probably doesn't belong in that class. To make these games, that just tell a great story and that just give a great narrative, that don't find a way to supplement their coffers in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not a guy who has a problem with microtransaction culture in games. I don't. I get that companies need to make money. Mm-hmm. I get that adding additional profits and having a game that can be monetized down the road means that you're more willing to take a chance for sequels of that game if people want to do stuff, or that when that studio wants to do a different project, that you give them the benefit of the doubt. Bungie wouldn't be making Destiny if it wasn't for Halo. Right. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like, you can't. It feels shitty to deprive people of these big budget, narrative experiences, especially when in the past, 5 years, think of all the great narrative games that we've been spoiled with. Yeah. Think of your Uncharted's, Witcher 3, the Mass Effect, for the first 3 Mass Effect games, and Andromeda to some extent, was still told a great story, even if it was a little, jumbled here or there. BioShock. You know what I mean? The whole BioShock series. I mean, do you really want to lose that? Like, do you think that the games industry is a better place if we replace those with, games that you can pay a couple dollars to each time to do stuff? Fuck, man. Ubisoft arguably is one of the last holdouts for that right now. I feel like.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable to say.
Yeah, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, like, those are narrative-driven games with, multiplayer elements. But yeah, wow.
Right, and I mean, they get DLC, but not like they're not nickel and, not yet maybe, but they're not nickel and diming you for, buy this gun or buy this bow and arrow or buy this costume.
They do, but they do it through Uplay, so it's not like in your face.
Okay,
but yeah,
well, right. You're not like pausing the menu to change your gear in Assassin's Creed, and there's not like an ad in the corner saying, "Hey, go to the market and buy a whatever."
Right.
It makes me sad, man. It really does. And not to get. And again, like, I'm someone who gets it. I'm someone who gets the industry and the inner workings and how it works, and it still is it's a bummer. Like all anyone's clamored for years was a great narrative single player Star Wars game. We thought we'd get it with Force Unleashed, with the 2 Force Unleashed games. They weren't very good, to be quite frank.
No. And
it seemed like that we were finally getting that. Like, the 1313 footage was an appetite whetter that turned out to not be anything. But then we're like, man, Amy Hennig, the person who helped mold Uncharted's going to Visceral, and Visceral's making this game, and hey, they made Dead Space, and the first 2 Dead Spaces were great, and it gave you a lot of hope. And apparently it just wouldn't make enough money, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Hard to not be cynical about this particular topic.
Yeah, it sucks, man. I don't know. Here's hoping that good single player games don't go the way of the dodo.
Yep. And like I said, I'd love to hear our fans' thoughts on this stuff. We didn't do question of the week this week, but if you guys have an opinion about this, definitely go to densepixels.com/fans if you are not already in our gaming group, and post about it in there, because I'd be curious to know what you guys think about this particular topic.
Yep.
Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at densepixels. Subscribe to the show, Google Play Music, iTunes, any podcatcher that you use, you can subscribe. We are also all on Twitch TV. I'm densepixels Brad. Terrence is Apparition 410. Micah is Dense Black Nerd, and Carrie is It's Carrie. And a reminder, next week on the 4th of November, Carrie will be doing an extra live stream where she'll be playing games to raise money for children's charities. She's kind of the de facto Dense Pixel stream. We're going to be supplying her with some free games to give away to you guys and some prizes. So make sure you check out her stream. Donate if you can. If you search for Carrie Wood on Extra Life, you can find her page and donate and help her get to her goal. So thank you guys very much for listening. We will see you all next week.
See ya.